You're tuned in to Music Scene Investigation. Rich Wildman here with you. Glad to see everybody out there in, well, wherever you're at. I don't know where you're at. I try not to keep track of that, otherwise my brain would explode.
And
You
do not
don't,
be NSA.
yeah, you don't want to see that. It's not a pretty sight. And that voice you just heard was Ian Husbands. Hey, Ian, what is going on with you?
I'm sitting here waiting to do the show, Rich.
All right, well, we'll get started here in a second then, okay?
I'm ready when you are, mate.
It's a crazy day. It looks like winter out there, but I've been told it's fall. I'm waiting to find any confirmation to that I can, and I'll let you know when I do. 3 new songs on the mat today, everybody, for our panelists to listen to. I've got the titles and the artist here in my hand right now, and we'll talk more about that in a little bit. First, however, we have to meet everyone. I do want to say congratulations to Phono Emergency Tool, our band of the month, and they were just crowned on this past Wednesday. If you missed it, you can go back and you can watch the recording of it on the website, musicsceneinvestigation.com/hit list. You don't want to miss that. It's actually a pretty cool show. It was an audience decision. That's right. All of the panelists could not make a decision, so we went to the audience and let them decide on the artist of the month. That, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Ian, that was a first for the hit list, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think you're right. And I would like to say, I'm getting a tad concerned. We've brought James on board, and normally I'm the people's vote. People go with what I'm saying, and this time they went with James. So I think my crown may have been stolen.
I think you're probably right, and that's kind of the way it happens every once in a while. Before we talk to James, however, Ian, I do want to ask you about some statistics, some witness statements from last week's show. If you don't mind, we had Kilvan, Musical Genius, and Silhouette Cities on the broadcast, along with Mr. Dave Bryce, who sat in on the panel. So, what did the witness statements reflect?
Well, it was a difficult week last week. I think Musical Genius, we all thought a lot of the track, but it was a unanimous vote on Silhouette Cities in the end. But glad to say that our audience didn't disagree with us. It was full on 100% all the way. Agreed with us in best songwriting, performance, and mix and production. So thanks for taking our side, guys, because it was a difficult decision last week.
Now, there you have it. The panelists seem to know what they're talking about every once in a while, and we're kind of glad they do, really. I mean, it's nice to have one in the win margin every once. It's just kind of.
We've not been too bad recently, but there have been patches where it's just like week in, week out, our audience have gone, you're wrong.
Have you ever thought maybe there's got to be a bookie in Vegas someplace who has a line on MSI? Which song is it going to be? 1, 2, or 3? Are the witness statements going to agree with the panel, or things like that? There's got to be a bookie somewhere doing that.
Do you know what? If there's not, why aren't we doing that?
Yeah, we should incorporate it into the show, definitely.
All right. Well, we'll try. I think we might be able to do that if it's not illegal, and I'm afraid we can only bet for purposes of entertainment and no wagering, please. James Anderson, how are you, sir? Things going
I'm
well?
okay, thanks, Rich. Yeah, still playing on. A little bit tired today. I can usually tell by the ringing in my ears when the tinnitus appears, which is a bit of a concerning sign for somebody of my age. But it happens every now and then. Fortunately, not a permanent thing.
Wait till you get my age.
Yeah, all those years of mixing and mastering and recording, it's bound to happen sooner or later.
That's one of the hazards of being a recording engineer when you're mixing,
Yeah,
mastering.
no, in all seriousness, it's a big occupational hazard and something that everyone should watch out for, including our wonderful artists who submit the work. They should really be careful of their ears.
Absolutely. They say that you can't wear earplugs while you're mixing. You can't wear hearing protection while you're mixing, but you can
Exactly.
keep the volume at a decent level, I suppose.
And the same applies to live gigs as well. If not, that's probably even more important to look out for your hearing. But anyway,
Yeah. So
let's press on.
let's
James.
okay, Ian, go ahead.
Did you hear about the tinnitus sufferer who got basically killed in a horrendous accident beyond recognition?
No.
No, his family turned up and they said, well, we need you to sort of make sure the body is who we think it is. They went, do you have a look? There's not much left of him. They said, I don't know, but the ear rings a bell. Sorry.
One of those days, everyone, I can tell already, and it's all Ian's fault. I'm going to blame it on him regardless of what else happens during the broadcast. Our guest panelist today is our panelist of the year from last year. We're so happy to have her back with us. In fact, I was looking over things on the website and looking over the schedule and whatnot. She has not been on the broadcast since November of last year, which I know is a travesty, but we're happy to have her back with us. Miss Suzy Chase. Hey, Suzy, how are you?
Hi, I'm great. How are you?
Doing real well. It's good to have you back with us after so long. What's the excuse?
I know, I'm so happy, and look what I have.
You've got the artist or the panelist of the year award right there. It isn't
Yes.
solid gold. It is too. It must be heavy to lift.
It is solid gold. I love it. I sleep with it.
Before the show, we talked about getting a Flava Flav necklace so you could just wear it everywhere you go.
Yes. I'm going to do that as soon as the show ends.
Oh yeah, I believe that one. Yeah. So let me ask you. Last time we had you on was back in November. It seems like it's been forever, which I know it has. And we want to catch up. We want to find out what you've been up to since November, for goodness sakes.
Well, my website, thegrooveradio.com, has a whole new look. It looks great, so I invite everyone to check it out. And I've just been DJing once a month at Trophy Bar and posting my mixes on my website. Just keep on doing what I've been doing.
So you redid the whole website. Now that's got to be a job. I've been thinking about doing that for MSI, but I know it's a big undertaking. How long did it take you to get through to that, get it completed, and what's the feedback been like for you from your fans?
It took about 2 months to get it all squared away, and the fans love it. You can go back. You can just skim through all my shows very easily, and I think it looks pretty slick.
Well, everybody can find you over at your website. Now that I want to make sure I got the URL right, thegrooveradio.com.
Yep.
They can check it out there and see the website, the new website for themselves and make their own decisions. And of course, they can always catch your latest broadcast there as well. And if they want to access the back catalog, they can subscribe and do that. And it all goes for a good cause, which is, of course, more Suzy.
Yes, more rare grooves.
Yeah, and that's one thing that I like to see that you do is you're not necessarily going with everything mainstream. You're picking all the good ones that maybe people have forgotten about.
Yes. Exactly. Or things like, wow, that's Earth, Wind, and Fire, and I've never heard that before.
Yeah.
Type of thing.
Yeah, or even some of my favorites like Peaches and Herb and things like that.
Yes, something other than Shake Your Groove thing.
There you go. Yeah, of course. So, all right.
Of course.
Now, everybody can find you live every week at the Trophy Bar doing what you do best. And that's playing all that great music.
Every first Saturday.
Every first Saturday.
Yeah, in Brooklyn.
Now, why aren't you doing it every week? These guys at the Trophy Bar should have you there every week doing this.
They do. I used to do every week, but then I didn't have a life. So I do every first Saturday.
And then you come on here once every 6 or 8 months and You're, of course, you know I'm kidding.
But I'm so happy to be back.
And we want you to be back much more often. There is no
Yes.
reason why we shouldn't have you back more often.
Deal.
All right. Well, that's good. Now that we've got all that straightened out, we can actually bring up the topic that everybody wants to know about. I know that everybody has been thinking about this since January. Since you won the Panelist of the Year, how has it changed your life, Suzy?
I get stopped on the street like crazy. People say, "Oh, you're the Panelist of the Year." I can't get down one block without someone saying, "Hey, are you Suzy Chase, the Panelist of the Year?"
Yeah, and it's New York City.
Madness. It's New York City.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like you're out in the middle of nowhere where there are no people. You're in the most populated
Like
city
you.
here exactly like me. You know, the only people who come up to me and ask me my name are the cows. Moo? You know. But anyway, so you're in the most populated city in arguably in the United States, and people are stopping you left and right everywhere you go.
Left and right.
Asking to see
Yes.
the trophy, asking when they can see you back on MSI and everything, I would imagine.
Exactly.
I've
And I
just
just
worked out
don't
why
have
Tommy
enough
quit.
time.
What's that, Ian?
I've just worked out why Tommy quit. He couldn't take the pressure anymore.
Yeah, Ian, and you're right, exactly. Suzy was getting all the
Yeah.
attention.
Yeah,
So there you have it.
it all
It
falls
was
into
too much
place.
for his heart.
Maybe. All right, so we do have some music for everybody to listen to today that we want to get to. We want to get everybody's opinion on it, and I don't want to hold everybody back on this by waiting until later in the broadcast to do it. In fact, some of these songs are a little lengthy today. I'm not going to say they're over 5 minutes because everything is under 5 minutes as per our requirements, but everything is fairly close today. So I do want to get started on that, and I want to get your opinion on what you happen to hear. Let's take a listen to song number 1 on today's broadcast and get everybody's opinion on it. Here it is, everybody. This is song number 1 on today's Music Scene Investigation.
How come I'm still breathing, though my heart stopped beating? Felt like I'd surely die. All my limbs are moving, but my head's still hurting. All of this because you lied. I'm alright here on my own again. I don't need you to take care of me, 'cause your love was just unkind. I'm alright here on my own again. How come I'm still breathing, though my heart stopped beating? Felt like I'd surely died. All my limbs are moving, but my head's still hurting. All of this because you
That is track number 1 on today's Music Scene Investigation. I'm going to turn some microphones back on here, and we'll go over to our panelists, finding out what they think of it. Ian, your camera finally came in fairly well. What do you think of track number 1 as it goes to hell again?
In the words of what was it, Gerard Depardieu? Depardieu.
I do not know. Where is my wine?
I don't know. I like this song. Right, where are we? I like this song, but it's a demo. It's a demo mix. I think it was about a chorus and an outro too long, to be honest. If you cut that down a little bit and just sort of finish nicely on just on a single chorus or something like that, you didn't need to go back to that bass and drum pattern at the end there, the same as the intro, basically. It was strangely empty. I liked what the bass player was doing, but I feel that the drums were programmed. Something with quite good sounds, but they were quite static from my point of view. They didn't have much life in them, especially with the actual velocity on the hits of the hi-hat and stuff like that. It was very consistent. No sort of feel to it. And I like what the bass player was doing, but it kind of the song was kind of trying to rely on that as a hook in some way. And that intro and some of them verses sounded very empty. They needed more, some strings, some synths, some acoustic guitars, something to give it more of a body for that vocal to attach to. I liked her voice. I felt that she could have had a better performance. I think that is partly down to her and partly down to whoever produced the track. Obviously, they've gone for quite a good dynamic here between the verses, which are pretty empty and static, to that chorus. It does jump in, and it has got a bit more of a hook to it. And it does start to fill out a little bit with instrumentation, but it doesn't feel produced. It feels like someone who's kind of got a copy of Logic, knows how to get stuff in, but doesn't quite know how to get their sounds right. And they've got basically a good demo. This is sort of, this sort of quality you can take to a band or a producer and say that this is what we've got. We want to get this sounding really good. And I think there is a song there which is going to sound really good with the right production and the right amount of work. More backing vocals, build the track up, get it to sort of go from that nice sort of bassy start with the drum pattern and build gradually throughout the track. A good start, but sort of not finished, in my opinion.
All right, Ian, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Over to James. James, your thoughts on this track?
I think what we've got here is a very good composition, but as Ian said there, it is effectively like a demo and needs quite a bit of work. Unfortunately, there are the odd bits of performance issues here and there, such as the slightly buzzy, or very buzzy bass, and areas where you can tell that the player isn't quite playing it properly. Her vocals were very nice, but again, could be brought up to a slightly better level. Few timing issues here and there, but I'd say give it a re-record. It's definitely a very, very good solid foundation there for a track that I think has a lot of potential, and I certainly enjoyed it. I enjoyed listening to it, but I think it could be better polished, especially as soon as the chorus sort of comes together, because I felt that things were getting a little bit swamped here and there, and this is a fairly usual problem with the tracks that we're sent, is that there's mix problems where things don't quite sit properly. And I think it's something that's so easily rectified. But in this instance, have a good think, re-record first, and then take it to a good mixer and somebody that knows how to produce, and it should be a much, much finer track. It's a very good start, though.
All right, James, I appreciate that. Thank you. Now, Miss Suzy Chase from the Groove Radio. Suzy, what do you think about track number 1?
I actually liked the coffee house type of simplicity of the song. And I liked her voice. She was kind of like Rita Coolidge. She kind of reminded me of her. And I liked how it was kind of restrained. I thought it was a sweet song. But I think they're both... Ian and James are right that it could have been a little more well produced. There could have been a little more going on.
All right. Well, I appreciate your thoughts on that as well. The name of this track, for everyone's information, it is called All Right on My Own by Mo Blishen, and we appreciate Mo sending that track in to Music Scene Investigation. If you want your music in front of our panelist, it's a very easy thing to do. Just go to musicsceneinvestigation.com. At the top of the page, click the Submit a Song link, and there you'll find out all the information you have to adhere to submit your music. But please, by all means, submit your music for our panel. They love music and love to hear your stuff as well.
I just want to say that Pinky in the chat room has said it kind of sounded like a home production of a very good musical idea by Sixpence None the Richer, which is a band I haven't thought about for a long time, but he's right. And, I'd take that as a compliment.
All right, well, there you go. So the audience also appreciates that track. All right, guys and gals, we have 2 more tracks to take a listen to. Let's start out with track number 2 on the broadcast today. Here it is. This is the second track on today's Music Scene Investigation. Enjoy, everyone.
The view from what might become our lives don't seem like they'd hold now. The barren and wasted minds, the plans just words all along now. As they hit the ground, the more come. They stall as the years go by, from countless hopefuls, heroes emerge without us. They don't see their time. As they hear new futures, getting line, getting round, getting closer. They burn as they reach the sky. We can fly further on the wings that we built for ourselves from nothing. Then moments might come, but we what we are, and we're better than. Don't stop, don't wait, don't fall, don't fade. This back, but we won't back down. Don't break, don't yield, don't fall, don't fail. Make it through, 'cause we still have time.
That's track number 2 on the broadcast today. We're going to start this round out with James and find out what he thinks. James, track number 2, what do you think of it?
Wow, what a great outro. That was really unexpected. I really liked the way that this track was layered and the way it built up. And going straight in to the aspect of mixing and production, which is an area I like to focus on because it's my area. I actually thought that was a really good effort for what is effectively a demo or an unsigned bit of music there. It's really, really quite good. I like the way that the keyboards just came in and were layered in the right place. And then the vocals actually sat really, really well with the rest of the mix. And it is it's the evolution of the track was really interesting. I was constantly captivated by the composition. My only slight niggles are that, yeah, there's always room for improvement in a track, especially if it's not professionally mixed or mastered. I think that there were some slightly niggly bits with vocal levels as soon as it developed more and got a bit louder. And on a plus note, I like the use of stereo on the shouted backing vocals. That's really, really good effect to sort of create a bit of confusion and tension. It's had a very good build-up. But there were areas in the mix that were slightly muddy in places. But generally, a good performance, very good track, and I thought it was a good all-rounder. Very impressed.
All right. Well, I appreciate it, James. Thank you. Over to Miss Suzy Chase. Suzy, track number 2.
I thought that the instruments were louder than the vocals. The song really wasn't my cup of tea, but that doesn't really mean anything. I think it got a little messy at the end. Like the evolution of the track, as James was saying, I think got messy at the very end. But all in all, I thought the beat was good.
All right. Fair enough. I appreciate that. And Ian, what's your take on this one? What do you think of track number 2?
My take is I'm pouring a large glass of Jim Beam Red Stag.
Is that what it's going to take to get you through this one? Is that what you're saying? Are you alluding to something here?
No.
You're on bar 26 yet?
I actually really enjoyed this track. I really did. There's a lot of good stuff going on, except for the vocal production. The vocal production really was lacking from my point of view. The guy's got a good voice. I like the way he started off with that sort of whispery, edgy, sort of low voice, which gave the sort of track a sort of that haunting thing. And then the band kicks in, and he didn't. He just stayed on the same level. I wanted to hear him going up and pushing that vocal more angst, more suffering, because kind of that's what the rest of the track was coming over. It had that dark edge to it, that new metal feel. And, you know, he just stayed on that level. And as the track went on, he sort of got a little bit more with it. But I wanted to hear him go for it a lot sooner and really sort of punch in with that vocal. Again, mix-wise, the vocals were low. But it would have helped there if he had have given it more, gone for it more. Even to the point of maybe taking out the whole octave and really pushing that vocal out with as much pain and anguish as he could summon. Because, that's what it deserved. We needed to feel that vocal. And while it was down there in that whispery thing, basically the whole of the track, it just wasn't doing what the rest of the music was doing for my liking. There is a good song here. It's got a good hook. It's got a good groove. It's got a good riff in there. I like the outro as well. It did get a little bit messy. It wasn't as tight as the rest of the track, but I loved the feel of it. I loved where it was going. I loved it had an ending. The track actually had a finish. And there's a lot of good stuff going on. I just want that vocalist to work harder. And the mix. The guitars were a bit too airy for my liking. We talk about compression a lot on this track, on this show, and how things are over compressed. I think this was the reverse. I think for this sort of new metal, sort of punk sort of sound that they were going for, you wanted to compress some guitars up a bit more, press that vocal up a bit more as well, and give it a bit of a harder edge. Because that way you'll sort of keep the power of the guitars as well as that groove going on without it sort of sounding as loose.
I've heard.
Yeah, they were trying to use gain instead of compression with those overdriven guitars.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people say.
To push it through and it didn't work.
I've heard a lot of people say that that some songs need more space. Sounds to me like what you're saying is maybe this one didn't need as much, maybe.
But the track still needed the space, but the space of the instruments needed to be taken down in their individual rights, if that makes sense.
All right, makes sense to me. Let me introduce the track to everybody. The name of this song is called Finite Bodies. It's by Rhyn, and we appreciate their sending that track into Music Scene Investigation as well. All right, before we get to the third track, I just want to take the opportunity to let everybody know that coming up in November, You'll want to make sure you bookmark musicsceneinvestigation.com because we have our yearly awards voting, which is going to open in November. The award show will be in January, as it is every year, but the voting opens in November. You want to make sure you bookmark the site. Vote for your favorite artist out of the nominees from all of our Band of the Month winners, and you'll want to vote for your favorite panelist as well. And every panelist who's been on during the year will be up for that award as well, which was won by Miss Suzy Chase just this past January.
Who?
Yay!
You can't be in on the. You're not nominated, Ian. We talked
3 years. 3 years. Nearly 4
Ian, I'll
years I've been
share
doing
this
this
with
show.
you,
Not
Ian.
one nomination.
We talked about this last week, Ian. You're not
Still hurts.
eligible.
Still hurts.
You know, I'm sorry. It may hurt, but you know, I never get an opinion. I'm not eligible. You're not eligible. It's just the way it is. Yeah, you can cry about it after the show, okay? I mean,
I will.
There's do me a favor if you do, videotape it. Send me a copy. We'll post it for everybody to watch. That way they can share in your pain. I'm
Don't
just
make a grown
Post
man
it on
cry.
Patreon.
exactly. There you go.
Please give me money. Please. Please, we need money. Please, come on.
I want to be eligible. All right, one more song for everybody's listening pleasure today. This is it. It's song number 3 on the broadcast. Enjoy it. Here it comes, everybody. Song number 3 on today's MSI.
Na milo nino ajiko Avoulete. Amena de force de l'Afrique, coup d'État avancé en Amérique. De notre là-bas viennent les grandes nations, mais notre honneur est la discrimination. Oh, Navi, wo micho, miawo do ahoto do odeji. Kale wo micho, bojo medune wo yata Avoulete. Toujours la soumiette voyata. Yeah man, Avoulete. Kale wo Avoulete. Oh, bojo me journée voyata Avoulete. Kale ou bunadi. Avoulete, je blesse. développer notre cité, la rendre confortable et assurer la sécurité contre la dépendance à perpétuité. Oh, pour ne plus immigrer en clandestinité, mais toujours voyager en toute liberté. Levons-nous pour reconstruire notre belle cité. La victoire est bien assurée, faut pas désespérer. Oh, Avoulete, bonjour, ma journée, woyata, Avoulete. Chiruju la zumieto, woyata. Yeah, man, Avoulete, kala wo Avoulete. Bonjour, ma journée, woyata.
That is track number 3 on the broadcast today. We're going to bring our panelist in. We're going to start this round with Suzy, find out what everybody thinks of it. Suzy, track number 3 to you. What do you think?
This band sounds like the real deal. Sometimes you get these fake reggae bands, you know, with suburban kids and garage, but this sounded like the real deal to me. And I loved how the vocalist was almost off key, but he wasn't. And the keyboards and the groove and the backup singers were really, really good. To me, this was refreshing for new music. I loved it.
All right, fair enough. Ian, track number 3, what are your thoughts?
From the point of view of a song, a production, the performances, the composition itself, it's a great track. Everything going on there is really, really pro. But that mix was so hot. Like, you know, normally, just to let you know, Rich gives us a warning if any of the tracks are much louder than they are. And this week, totally forgot to tell me that this one was going to take my head off. And it did. The mix just was far too loud, to the point of even some of them backing vocals were distorting like crazy. And I had my earphones turned right down. So, yeah, very, very hot mix. Don't get me wrong, everything's in its place, everything's where it should be, but it's just been crammed up in mastering to get that sound. And, you know, besides that, it is very well done. Loved the horns, loved the placement of the organ. It just sat so nicely. The vocal was there, you could hear everything clearly. Obviously, it wasn't an English language piece, didn't understand what he was saying, but you still got the feel of the track from his performance. And that is where music should sort of transcend language and stuff like that. If you can kind of feel what the guy's saying without actually knowing it for certain, then that's a good thing. And, you know, I can't fault the performances from him. It is pro.
All right, Ian, I appreciate your thoughts on it. Over to James. James, your take on track number 3 as well. What do you think?
I agree totally with Suzy and Ian. What a fantastic track. Great performances. You really can't fault them as a band. That's very good. But there is the glaring problem of distortion, which I didn't initially hear until about the 4th second in, as soon as you could hear the guitars, and sort of heard this rattling sound, and I thought, oh, perhaps that's an effect or something strange about to kick in. And unfortunately, it was plastered over the whole track, and looking at my level meters, I could see everything was sort of rammed. Well, I didn't really need to look at them, but it was all rammed up very close to the ceiling, and unfortunately, it's ruined the mix, because that would be an absolute blinder of a track if it wasn't for that. But going back to it musically, it really, really can't be faulted, and it is refreshing to hear music where other languages are used, and you do get the feel, and you can follow it completely, like what Ian was saying there. But yeah, it's really sad that it distorted so much, especially in the backing vocals, because I think if it was treated with a really, really good mix or a good bit of mastering, then maybe it would have worked out better. I've got a sneaking suspicion that somebody's used a preset on one of these mastering packages and maybe over-fiddled, and they've ended up with a really loud mix that probably sounds good to them, but it's just too loud.
And
Bring
it's
it
probably
back a
been
little
done.
bit, and
It's probably
Sorry,
been done
Ed.
with the volume. It's probably been done with the volume cranked right up as well, so it's been mastered.
yeah, that's right.
loud.
So it's exceeding way above that 0 dB threshold going into the red, and sadly you can't do that with digital. Maybe this is somebody that's used analog in the past and had good results from overdriving stuff, but sadly it doesn't work in the digital domain, and it's ruined it from that perspective, but not the tune. The tune's fantastic. Great track.
All right. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. Let me introduce the track to everyone. The name of track number 3 is called Avoulete, and it's by SolXray. We appreciate their sending that track in to MusicSceneInvestigation.com. All right, everyone. The task you have laid before you right now is to decide on a song of the week. So I'm going to turn it over to you on the panel, let you discuss it, let you make your decisions, and we'll find out what your choices are. Take it away, guys.
Ladies first.
Definitely number 3 for me.
Short and sweet and straight to the point.
I know. Bing, bang, boom. And did I mention this?
That's a windmill.
Yeah, I love number 3. I thought it was the best. The best all the way around, except for the volume.
Sorry, I've just turned my video on. Don't I know you? Aren't you that Suzy Chase that was on that Music Scene Investigation show? Panelist of the year, was it?
Yes, no autographs.
Oh, I was going to ask actually, but you know. All right. From my point of view, look, I'm gonna be hardline this week, and I'm gonna say it would be number 3, but that mastering issue for me has taken a good product and it's a schoolboy error that shouldn't have happened, in my opinion. So I'm going to go for song number 2. I think song number 2 has got a lot of potential sitting there. It needs some work, but I did enjoy that. So for me, song number 2.
All right, and James, your thoughts and choice?
I think it's such a difficult decision because 3 is a very, very, very strong track. However, there are the problems with the mix being too hot. Track 2 is also an extremely strong contender from the fact that everything sits well and it had a nice build-up. Track 1, unfortunately, still felt a bit too much like a demo, but it was a good composition. All 3 tracks were great this week. My favourite was track 3. However, I'm going to have to agree with Ian here. I don't think we can really put a track forward with such a glaring problem where it's distorted so much through. So I'm going to say number 2 as well.
All right, so yeah, I know it's a pain in the neck when they outvote the panelist of the year, who obviously is the smartest person in the room. You know, so yep. Split decision here. Rhyn, Finite Bodies is our song of the week. Congratulations to them. Thanks for everybody tuning in. Suzy, a special thanks to you for being here. We got to have you on more often. That's all there is to it.
Yes, thank you. I'm so happy to be back. I've missed you all.
Oh, we've definitely missed you, and we're just happy to have you back. There's no doubt. So can we book you for next week as well?
Sure.
Oh,
Sure.
we'll make sure we get you booked at some point.
Rich,
My trophy and I will come.
There you go. Yeah, no doubt.
Rich, I need to stop you here, man.
All right, Ian.
One day, one of our guests is going to watch back a few of the episodes, right?
Yeah.
And every week, you invite that guest back next week.
Yeah.
And every week, they're going to realise that you know, it's a thing you do.
It's his parody.
It just means there's a different guest every week, and that I always get shot down because I have no opinion, and that you always override my inviting the person on the week before.
Well, I'm glad that's established.
So it makes you look bad and makes me look awesome.
I don't mind looking bad. That's a good thing.
So I'm okay with it. It's all perfectly good by me.
We do
All
love
right.
you, though, Suzy. Do come back and see us more often.
I will.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Absolutely. All right. We're going to be back again next week with 3 new songs we'll put out in front of the panel. Let them make their decisions then. However, for right now, we're going to play out with Rhyn and Finite Bodies on Music Scene Investigation. Thanks for being with us, everybody. Have a great week, and we'll talk to you very soon. Here it is with Finite Bodies. This is Rhyn.
Bye.
Bye.
The view from what might become our lives don't sound like they'd hoped. Now, the barren and wasted minds, the plans just words all along. Now, just as they hit the ground, the more come. They stall as the years go by, from countless hopefuls, heroes emerge without us. They don't see